Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, welcome. My name is Monica, and today this declutter needs to happen. Today I'm hoping to go through all of my highlighters, my bronzers, and face palettes, and blushes too. Jesus, we've got a lot to go through. So these are all my highlighters and face palettes. I've got blushes and everything in this next higher level, so I think we're going to do that one later. I think we should start with the highlighters and then move on to the palettes. This is part of my declutter week. I asked you guys if you wanted to see these declutter videos spaced out or just all in one week, and overwhelmingly you guys said declutter week. So here we go, continuing through declutter week. So let me go ahead and pick out a few highlighters that I know I want to keep. This highlighter I'm definitely keeping. This is my Dior highlighter. It is beautiful. Oh, look at that. That is gorgeous. I have to keep this. I bought this on a whim. It's definitely a luxury purchase, but I love it. I have the Jeffree Star Skin Frost in Ice Cold, which is, I believe, the lightest, just kind of bright shade. I'm going to hold on to this. If you saw my... Oh, let's not drop it. If you saw my Toxic People video, you'll know I'm not supporting the brand anymore, but that I'm kind of doing the same thing I do with the Kat Von D, where I'm not going to throw out a product just for the sake of making a statement. I'm just going to use up the products and just no longer purchase from the brand. So I'm going to hold on to this one. I'm thinking of actually getting rid of the other highlight I have, which is Summer Snow Cone, which is in my everyday makeup basket right now. So I think I'm going to wait until the end of its time in the makeup basket and make a decision, because that highlight honestly isn't as great, and that was a limited edition one. So if anything, I think I'm going to declutter that one, but I'm going to hold on to Ice Cold. This highlighter I'm on the fence about. This is the Kylighter in the shade French Vanilla. It's a nice shade, but I hate the packaging. It's big, it's bulky, it's got a mirror, which is decent, but I don't really need this kind of gigantic packaging in here. So I think either I'm going to depot this, if I can, or I'm going to declutter it. So I think I'm going to try and depot this, and if I can't, I'm going to declutter it. One I'm actually going to keep because I really like it from Kylie is the highlighter palette from the Weather collection. And you've got quite a few shades in here. The only downside here is that these shades don't work for every skin tone. Clearly, I can actually use every one of these shades, even that darkest shade right there, with a light hand. So that just tells me right off the bat that not a lot of skin tones can get a lot of use from this. But personally, I like this. It worked for my complexion, and I'm going to hold on to it because I actually like the entire palette. And it's got a nice big mirror in it. This is kind of what I expect from Kylie. I don't want all of this for one kind of mediocre highlight shade, if you know what I mean. Next, I have this MAC Extra Dimension Skin Finish in Whisper of Guilt. I definitely bought this because of YouTube hype. I believe it was once upon a time a limited edition highlight, and then it was brought back for like a couple of weeks, and everyone on YouTube lost their mind about it. But yeah, I was sucked into the hype, and I mean, it's a decent highlight, but it's not like the best. But it's also like my only MAC highlight. So I kind of want to hold on to it just because it's my only MAC highlight. But it's not like it doesn't live up to the hype that everyone else gave it. So just keep that in mind, but I'm going to hold on to this one since it is my only MAC highlight. Alright, moving and grooving on to the highlights that I'm getting rid of. This is a liquid highlight from e.l.f. and a stick holographic highlight from e.l.f. I have not reached for either of these once. I'm not a huge fan of liquid highlight, and the stick holographic, it's like a purple holographic highlighter. I'm not going to use this, and they're not used, so someone else can actually get a lot of use out of this, so I'm going to declutter these. Next, I have a mini Becca highlighter in Vanilla Quartz. I'm really debating keeping this because I have a Becca highlight that I love. That's the Royal Glow highlight. This one is almost a little light for me, and I have a ton of Becca highlights back here that we still have to go through. So I think I'm going to declutter this one because it hasn't really been used too much, and someone else can get a lot of use out of this. So this one's going to go. Next, I have this Morphe highlight, and just quite honestly, it didn't work for me. This was gifted to me. It's a mini of one of their highlight shades, but the shade just didn't work well in my skin tone, and I'm never reaching for it. This is in the shade Spark. I'm going to declutter this, see if someone else can get some use out of it, because I was just never reaching for it. Next, I have the Flesh Touch Flesh Highlighting Balm. This is another stick highlighter. I never reach for stick highlighters. I never reach for pretty much stick anything almost. So this is still pretty much brand new. I'm also going to declutter this and see if someone else can get some use out of it. Next, I have this loose highlighter from Geek Chic Cosmetics. This is the highlighter in Moon Tiara Stardust based on Sailor Moon. I'm not a huge fan of loose highlighters, but I actually really love this, and I love the brand. So I'm going to hold on to this loose highlighter, try and get some more use out of it. It's a really pretty, like, editorial silver color that I can use with a light hand and still get a workable highlight out of it. So I'm going to hold on to this one. I think this is one that I have to part ways with. This is like the e.l.f. dollar highlight, and it's in the shade White Pearl, which is kind of misleading because it's hella yellow. It's a decent highlight, but with the amount of highlights I have, and I know that I'm not reaching for this like at all, I need to declutter it. So I'm going to declutter this one. Next, we have an absolute classic that I have to keep. I actually really like this one. This is the original Essence Pure Nude Highlighter, and it's in the shade Be My Highlight. I think now they have more shades, but this is the original one that they did put out. I love this highlighter. I have to keep hold of it. You got so much product. It's really affordable. This is one of the best, honestly. Next, I have another highlighter from e.l.f. and this one I think I'm also going to part ways with. This is the Baked Highlighter. I believe, what is the shade? This is in Moonlit Pearls. You have to scrape off the top layer. I think this was the whole thing when these first came out, is that if you tried using this when it first was released, you couldn't get anything onto a brush or onto your finger. You literally had to scrape off the top layer to get anything workable. So I've got so many other great affordable highlighters that you don't have to do that extra work with. So I think I'm going to declutter this one and yeah, move on. Next, I have a highlighter from Makeup Geek, and I have to be honest, I think I've barely reached for this. This is the highlight in Nightlight. Let me open it up. It looks really dark in the pan, so I was actually a bit worried about whether or not it would work for me. I am going to give this another shot. It'll be on the chopping block, but I'm going to give this a shot and actually see if it'll work for me before I make the decision to declutter it. Next, we're going to go through all of my Becca Light Chaser highlighters. I've got 4 of them. This one is actually empty. I actually was able to successfully depot this highlighter, and it's in one of my face palettes, which I don't know if I'll get to in this video. I might have to do a separate, like, custom Z palette video, but I'm going to just recycle the packaging on this since I'm not sure why I kept it. This is in the shade Opal Flashes Jade, and I have to keep this one. This one is absolutely gorgeous. It's got like a green reflect to it. It's very pretty, so I have to hold on to this one. I really like this, and actually I kind of like that these highlighters are a bit smaller than the regular Becca highlighters are. Next, we have the shade Pearl Flashes Gold, and I also really like this shade. It's nice and light, but it's got that really beautiful warm gold undertone to it, which I think is stunning. So I'm also going to hold on to this one, and I think the last one in this series is too dark for me, and I'm going to be decluttering that one. Yeah, so this is Topaz Flashes Guilt, and I'm just going to swatch this. I think I've only swatched this. It's gorgeous, but it's way too dark for me to use like as a highlighter. And since it's only been swatched, I think I should give this to someone who can get a little bit more use out of it. So I'm going to be decluttering this one. Wow, so far we've actually decluttered more highlighters than I've been keeping, which is pretty awesome so far. So next, I think I'm going to go through this huge pile and pull out just the highlighter palettes. And we'll go through those first, and then we'll go through the face palettes. Okay guys, so I'm going to be honest, I don't think I'm going to get rid of any of these highlighter palettes just because they're majority ABH palettes and I actually really like them. So let's just go through all of them real quick. First, I have the ABH Dream Glow Kit, which are these like stunning neon shades. I actually really like using these as highlighters or inner corner highlights or as eyeshadows all over the lid. So I'm going to hold on to this one. Next, I have the Sugar Glow Kit, and I actually really like particularly the shades Marshmallow and Starburst in here. They're gorgeous. If I'm being honest, Butterscotch is probably too dark for me. I could probably get rid of that one, but I don't know if I would want to leave just like an empty spot in the palette. Yeah, so I'll probably just keep on to it until I use up one of the other ones. Next, I have the Sun Dipped Glow Kit, and I think I'm going to hold on to all of these shades. I really like using Summer and Moonstone as highlights. I don't really get a whole lot of use out of Bronzed and Tourmaline, but I did see a tutorial a while ago where someone used Bronzed as like a glowy contour and bronzer, and I really loved how that turned out. So I think I'm going to hold on to this and pull this back out for the summer and see if I can get a nice glowy kind of summer look out of that. I'm also going to hold on to the Moonchild Glow Kit. I've got some gorgeous colors in here, a nice green highlight, purple highlights, pink highlights, blue highlights. Any like other color I could even think of needing is in here. And again, I can use these as eyeshadow or as inner corner highlights on my eye looks. I've actually been bringing this out a lot recently to use specifically Lucky Clover as a nice green tinted inner corner highlight. Last but not least, I have this Wet n Wild Mega Glow highlighting palette that came out this past holiday season, and there are 4 shades in here, and I feel like this probably is a dupe for one of the ABH Glow kits. I gotta do some more testing. But you've got a white shade, a pink shade, a light gold shade, and a deep bronze shade. I really like this formula. I think Wet n Wild has some of the best affordable highlighters on the market, without a doubt. And I really like this palette, so I'm going to hold on to this one. And I actually have a few more single highlights from them. I think I might declutter those in order to hold on to this palette, because I really think this palette gives you just about everything that you need. Speaking of ABH single highlights, here we are, and I really think I have to declutter the 2 dark shades that I really am not going to get any use out of, and I'm talking about these 2 right here. This one I can get use out of, but these 2, they're way too dark for me to use as actual highlights. This first one is Diamond Lily, and I think this is Purple Raven. No, Purple Ashes. So this one is Purple Ashes. This was a limited edition with their Gothographic collection, and I think this one's still available, but they're too deep for me to use, even if the formula is amazing. So I need to declutter those 2 and just keep this one, which I believe is Blossom Glow. Alright, so those are all my specifically highlighter palettes. We've gone through all my highlighters. I think now we're going to skip over and go through the rest of my face palettes. Alright guys, let's move over to my face palettes. So I have 2 very reflective Hourglass face palettes. I'm going to hold on to the Unlocked palette, this one, just because the shades work a lot better for me, and I really like just the options that I have here a little bit better than the pink palette. I have absolutely nothing against the powders in here. The powders are great, but the shades are just a little bit off for what I'm looking for in an everyday face palette. So I'm actually going to send this to a friend of mine, and I hope that she enjoys it and gets a lot more use out of it than I did. Moving on to these Essence palettes, I have the Peachy Bean and Jelly Keen palettes. I'm only going to keep one of these. I really don't think. I think I'm going to keep the Peachy Bean just because I really like that peach blush right there. And I'll get a lot of use out of that, I think, and these 2 highlighters. And I'm going to declutter the Jelly Keen one because, I'm going to declutter this e.l.f. Glow Up Face palette just because the shades really didn't work for me and the formula was just meh. I have plenty of face palettes in here, even affordable ones that work a little bit better than this one. So even though it was pretty affordable and I like the packaging, just the formula and the shades just did not work out well for me. I'm also going to declutter this CoverGirl Peach Punch highlighter palette, which this is such a misnomer. Nothing about this is peach except for the horrible scent. The bronzer is meh, the blush is decent, and the highlighter is okay, but meh. I am definitely going to hold on to this Tarte palette. This is the original Clay Play palette with the original like contour and bronzer shades. I love the formula of this palette. It is gorgeous. The packaging is great. It's sturdy. It's got a huge mirror. It's one of my favorite face palettes and one of my favorite formulas for bronzer and contour. So I am going to hold on to this one. Next, I have this kind of slightly messy Z palette where I have quite a few random things mixed and matched. This is actually the Depotted, what is it? The highlighter, the Becca Light Chaser in Champagne Dream Flashes Bellini. I was able to depot that and I put it in here. I also have a blush from Wet n Wild right over here. I have a bronzer from Milani. I actually really like this bronzer, but the annoying thing is that it's a domed bronzer. Can you see that? It's not flat, so this thing doesn't actually close all the way, and it makes this a little bit messy. I also have a contour shade here from Kevyn Aucoin, and then these three shades make up a contour palette from Smashbox that I adore. So I'm going to hold on to all of these shades. Next, I have this holiday palette from Smashbox, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It's got some beautiful packaging. It's got a huge mirror. I love the bronzer and contour shade formula from Smashbox. It's great. And here we've got some blush type shades. We've got some under eye kind of setting or highlight shades, and I haven't actually dug too deep into this yet since I still have some of those other shades available, already open and in use. But I'm definitely going to keep this around because I just love everything about this palette. And I bought this on sale. I bought this when it was on sale for $19, which I think was a steal for this palette. I have the packaging from my Kat Von D Shade and Light Contour palette. This is in my 9pan 19 project pan. So I just keep all the empty pans in here. It's very easy to depot these shades because of the little holes down here. So I keep these in my Everyday Z palette. And I'm just holding on to the packaging so I can do my updates and have a nice end of the project picture when they're all used up, and then this will be recycled. Next, I have this Profusion Sculpt and Glow palette, which really blew me out of the water. This was such a great palette. I love everything about this palette except for perhaps just the highlight shades that are a little too dark for me, but they're still great highlight shades. Like it's a great formula that they have. I love this bronzer shade. It says light contour, but that's really a bronzer for me. Medium Sculpt is what I use as the contour, and then I love these two highlight shades right here, Euphoria and Lightning. This whole palette was great, except for the brush. I mean, I don't really trust brushes that come with palettes anyway, but I tried applying these with that brush and it actually like ruined the look. So don't use this brush if you get this palette, but I would highly recommend this because it's awesome. Alright, so here I have two ABH palettes. I have a powder contour kit palette and I have the cream contour kit. I bought both of these at TJ Maxx because they were both on sale there, and I got them both for under $20. So I think I'm going to hold on to them because I like the shades that come in the powder contour, and I like that they're easily removable and that you can move them around, put them in a Z palette, and I really don't have anything cream contour adjacent or related. This is really the only thing that I have, and I've been experimenting with cream contour. It takes me a long time, I'm gonna admit. It takes me a while, but it looks really nice, so I don't think it'll hurt to have one cream contour kit around. So I'm gonna keep both of these. They're a good deal and they're good products from ABH. Next, I have a product that I think I'm just gonna have to go ahead and declutter. This is from Makeup Revolution, and this is the Emily Edit Needs palette. And if you saw my Face Palette Palooza video, you'll know that none of these shades really worked for me. As much as the formula was actually pretty decent, just the shades themselves did not work. And I don't like the packaging, I don't like the shape of the pans. This whole palette is kind of just a pain in the butt, and I don't really need to keep it around. So I'm actually going to declutter this one. And this is one of my favorite face palettes of all time, the Smashbox Ablaze face palette. This is going nowhere. I am keeping this. I love it. And last but not least, we have the Too Faced Natural Face Palette. I also really love this. I love how luxurious the packaging feels, and I love the shades. I'm definitely holding on to this one. Ooh, this drawer is all now nice and empty. Let's go ahead and rearrange everything I'm keeping. And there we go. There's the now fully organized new face palette slash highlighter drawer. There's a lot more room. I really like it. I'm thinking of maybe moving blushes down here, but it'll depend on how many blushes I declutter. So let's move on to blushes. Okay, so here we are back into the second drawer in my Alex drawers. I've got my loose powders and pressed powders here, which we did in the last declutter. Over here we've got blushes, and we've got a blush palette, some blush palettes, and then back here, I don't know if it's showing up on camera, those are all my bronzers. So I want to go through the blushes first, and then we'll go through all of the bronzers. Alright, so first things first, I have a duplicate here. I have a mini kind of little sample of the California blush, and then I was gifted a full size of the box California blush. So I'm going to declutter the sample and keep the full size box blush. Next I have this Butter Blush Mini from Positions Formula. I'm not a huge fan of the Butter Blush formula, and I tried depotting this, and as you can see, it didn't go that great. So I think I'm going to go ahead and just declutter this mini, since I know I'm really not going to get much use out of it. Next I have this Flower Beauty blush, and I'm just looking at this and I really don't think I'm going to get much use out of this. I picked this up when I really wanted to try out more Flower Beauty products, but I'm not reaching for it, so I'm going to declutter it. Next I have this e.l.f. blush, and I don't even know if I reached for this in my full face of e.l.f. I don't think I did. I have not really reached for this once. And it's a bit odd looking. I don't think it works great with my skin tone, so I'm going to declutter this one. Next I have an e.l.f. blush that I actually really like. This is in Candid Coral, and it's a really nice light peachy blush. And I love the packaging, I love the little mirror you get up here, and I like the shade, so I'm going to hold on to this one. Next I have a mini from NARS, and this is a mini of the NARS Orgasm blush, and what is the highlighter? It is the Hot Sand highlighter. So I've used the blush a few times. I don't know if it lives up to the hype of the NARS Orgasm, considering that they've come out with like 8 different product lines based on this one blush. But I actually really like the highlighter too, and I like that it's mini. I like that the mirror that you get. I love the packaging, so I'm going to hold on to this. Oh, look at that cameraception. This is another mini from Natasha Denona. This is the Blush and Glow, and this is the original one they came out with that comes with like a really hot pink kind of highlighter and hot pink blush and a nice light champagne highlighter. I actually really like this. I find myself reaching more towards minis for blushes since I know now how long it takes to go through a blush. So I'm going to hold on to this one. Okay, so I have 2 ABH products here, and looking at how similar the shades are, I know I need to get rid of one of these. So, first I have the ABH Blush Kit in Radiant. I picked this up at a TJ Maxx, and it was a crazy price. It was like $10, and these blushes looked gorgeous. But I also have the ABH Blush Trio in Pool Party, and like looking at how similar these are, I don't need both of these. So just looking at the shades, I think I'm going to go with Pool Party, because I also have a peach blush. I also have the peach blush in this formula too, so I don't really need this. And it's pretty boxy and it takes up a lot of space. So I'm going to declutter this big, bulky blush kit, and I'm going to hold on to the Blush Trio in Pool Party. So I have this giant behemoth. Honestly, if I knew now how long it took to go through a blush, I probably wouldn't have picked this up. Look how big this thing is. This is huge. This is a giant blush palette from BH Cosmetics, and the shades are gorgeous, but I'll never use all of these. I'll never go through all of these, you know? So you know what, I'm going to hold on to this because I haven't really given it a full try. I haven't tried every shade in here yet. I'm going to hold on to this and at least give every shade a try, and then I'll see whether or not I want to hold on to this big bulky palette. A smaller palette that I actually really like is from Milani, and this is the Rose Powder Blush Trio in Floral Fantasy, and these shades are absolutely gorgeous. They're gorgeous. I love the Milani formula for blush, and I can't get enough of this, so I'm going to hold on to this. I have another product here from Geek Chic Cosmetics, and this is a loose powder blush in Let Them Eat Cake, and we've got Marie Antoinette here on the cover. And quite honestly, I love the aesthetic of this. I love the whole idea of this, and I just love this. So even if I never use powder blushes, I'm going to hold on to this. I love this. This is great. Last but not least, we have this pretty vulgar blush in Make Them Blush. And I have to say, I got this in a boxy charm, and I thought it was like okay. It's not like the best blush in the world, not the worst, but I think this is heavily overpriced for what it is. It's got like this cheapy plastic packaging, and it doesn't seem like a whole lot of product, and it's like over $30 if you buy it full price. I never would have bought this full price. I only kept it because I got it in a boxy charm. So since I haven't given this like a full, good, honest try yet, I think I'm going to hold on to it, try it out a few times, see if I actually like it, and then if it's still around and I'm not sold on it by the next declutter, it's going to be out the door. Alright, let me move this out of the way and we'll go over to the bronzers. Let's bring these forward. Hello, bronzers. This is actually a very small selection. I think I've done a good job of kind of keeping my bronzers down to a minimum. So let's go through these. I have this Ulta face sculpting color stick, and I gotta say, I don't think I've ever reached for this or ever wanted to. And I do have my One Cream contour palette from ABH, so I'm gonna declutter this. I have a mini here of the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, which I absolutely adore, so I'm definitely going to go hold on to this and use it all the way up. I did pan an entire butter bronzer before, and I love the formula. I love everything about this. Next, I have a bronzer from Too Faced. This is the milk chocolate, I think? No, it's the Chocolate Soleil bronzer. This is actually the first bronzer I ever bought. I actually really like this bronzer. I just never reach for it anymore, especially since I've been panning a bronzer. So I think I'm going to hold on to this and see if I reach for it anymore and try to bring it back more into like my everyday routine. Oh my god, this just happened! Oh. So I was actually going to declutter this anyway because I didn't really like it, but like just now this entire thing broke and that whole thing just fell out of the pan. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, yeah, so that's getting decluttered. I didn't like the formula. It looked really orange on me and it just didn't work, so that's gonna go. Next, I have this Makeup Geek bronzer in Tawny. I bought 2 of these because I really couldn't tell what shade to get online. I bought these in a Target, and this is the closest shade to me. I haven't really given it a full test or a try yet. I just think it's just a mess so far, but I do need to give it a full test. So I'm going to hold on to this until I can give it a full good try. So I have 2 of these Catrice Prime and Fine contouring palettes. I really think I only need 1. And I think I'm going to hold on to this one because this is a much better shade for contouring because it blends out a lot better and it works better as a contour than as a bronzer because this shade, it's a little bit warmer, better suited to a bronzer, but doesn't blend out as nice as I would like to see a bronzer blend out. So I'm going to declutter this one and hold on to this one to use it as a contour and not really a bronzer. Next, I have this Take Home the Bronze bronzer from The Balm. This is in the shade Oscar. I know they like renamed these because I think they might have gotten into some copyright issues because they named them after like awards like Oscar and Tony, you know. So I think they ran into some issues with that. But I bought this when it first came out and it's actually a really nice bronzer. I like this a lot better than their Bahama Mama, which everyone says is the best, but it's really orange, and this one is the opposite. It's really, really nice, and I like this one, so I'm definitely going to hold on to this one. Last but not least, I have this Burberry. Technically, it is called a dark earthy blush, but really, this is a bronzer slash contour. It is a lovely shade. I got this in a mini kit that I got with a few other Burberry products, and there's no way this is leaving my hands, so definitely holding on to this one. And there we go. We've got a lot more room in here. It's a lot more organized. Yeah. I think I'm also going to put this mirror in here because I never really reach for it anymore and I just need a spot to put it. Alright guys, so these are all the products I decluttered. We got rid of about half of my bronzers and blushes, and then we got rid of about a quarter of my face palettes and highlighters. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for joining in to this declutter week. Make sure if you haven't already to subscribe because I still have some declutters coming out. I definitely need to do a lip product declutter and also an eyeshadow palette declutter. That is much, much needed. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I cannot wait to see you in my next video. Bye.